introduce about you, then you can take over the session.
Okay.
Yes. Today we are in 4 and last session 4, and the session title is Data and Service Management in Cloud Computing, which is going to take care by Sri Ankur Mittal. He is working as a cloud solution architect at Microsoft. He has around 18 plus years of experience in cloud technology. He has been part of various digital transformation journeys for Fortune 500 customers across the globe by designing solutions, providing technical mentorship to startup organization in space of cloud, IoT, data analytic solutions. With this brief introduction, I request Ankur Mittal to take over the session. Over to you, Ankur.
Yeah.
Do you want participants should allow unmute, or you can take the session later? We can have a discussion.
Yes, yes. So I'm ready. So just give me 1 minute. I'm just setting up.
Share your yes.
Yeah. Just give me a minute.
Meanwhile, only 64 people have registered your attendance. Please register everyone. I'm telling again and again, today is the 4th day. If you miss to register attendance, you are not going to get your certificate. Only 64 people registered as of now. Today's post-lunch session. Please proceed, Ankur. Ankur? Ankur, are you good? I believe your mic is mute.
Oh, sorry. Actually, I'm not able to find out the unmute button. Okay, it's fine now. So, guys, am I audible?
Yes, please. Go ahead.
Okay. Just give me a minute. Yeah. So, hi, welcome everyone. And, I will not take you too much, before this Diwali festival. First of all, guys, a very, very warm welcome and thanks for being on this session. Right. And thanks, Infibin, for inviting us for this wonderful session and giving an opportunity to talk to you guys. In this session today, we are going to, learn about Azure Data and Services, correct? How we should see data in general, when we come to cloud. I know most of you have been attending these sessions. Maybe some of the information may be replicated to you, but we will understand that what is the data, how Azure manages data, and what are the various services that the data Azure provides for managing the data. Okay, so let's start. Just let me know when the slide changes. Just give me a minute. Okay, so how do we see data, a world of data for our customers? So, you know, so in terms of our worldview, right, data is at the center of so many strategic business conversations. So it's a privilege and responsibility to work in this space. Uh, so at the highest level, means and methods for doing business, for doing the business are actually changing and evolving at what can feel like a breakneck pace. Correct. So we have seen various scenarios like business models are evolving, customers are more empowered and knowledgeable, customer behavior itself is changing, the globe is more interconnected than ever before. Correct. So regulations and legal frameworks are evolving and evolving differently in different regions. So I can go on and on, but there's nothing new. In short, there are moving parts, and harnessing those moving parts to drive core business outcomes, has never been, more difficult. So doing so, requires an ability to learn quickly, consistently, and the enterprise wide. Correct. So we have to really learn faster, quicker, and with the consistency and enterprise. And that is very well captured, in this quote also, that in the future, our only sustainable advantage would be our ability to learn faster than our competitors. Okay. So if you look, at the four pillars of data, correct, then any modern enterprise will have, you will see that, we have people, we have products, we have operations, and, we have customers. Correct. And these are all intelligent loops that, which are working together on data. So these are called digital feedback loops. If you see customers that, they are giving signals, and, there would be actions coming out of the data processing and all those things. So that's how it works. Correct. So our centricity is all lying on these four pillars, in terms of how do we, manage data in cloud. So, letting to, so how do we drive better business outcomes? Correct. So first of all, let's understand how do we store and, understand data. So this includes, any kind of customer data. It could be an operational related data, or, any kind of products that you are running in your organization. It could be the product telemetry. It could be the people data, coming out of your HR systems. Correct. Despite that, storing data can still be quite complex. We have to consider multiple dimensions, correct, so many resources, so many data types, formats, physical locations, edges, data centers, remote areas, remote offices, laptops. I mean, people are in fact, keeping, even in some cases, we are even having remote pen drives also. So large volumes, and, and with varying velocities, correct. So it has to be really understood that, how should we deal with this particular data? And, in today's terminology, I'm not a database guy, correct. So in fact, we will be today focusing more on data rather than a database. So I will speak on that also, that, how we are only focused on the data first, and then how the database is just one subset of it to management. So please stay with me on that. Correct. Now, the second part is, how do we analyze, and, how we analyze this data to, to derive the signals. So so when it comes to, analyze this data, so some of the signals are like, what are the customers and employees or the products, what all they are saying, correct? Enterprises also have come a long way in their, analysis of data, correct? Yet we still see, highly inefficient analytical loops, correct? Because sometimes, the getting an information inside an organization is not too easy, right? Though they have a data, but retrieving that is really very, very high. And in fact, no one knows that, where is that data is. And we also see a number of customers who find themselves boxed in, correct, and had hostages by closed and legacy technologies. Correct. So that means, let's say you have not taken a digitized routes, maybe you are keeping papers, in racks, correct, and that information, even if it is really handy sitting in front of you, you won't be able to retrieve it because you do not know where that information is. Correct. So these two problems, inspired our investments, in the systems like Synapse, correct, or the developing the analytics platforms, and how we can deal with this data. First, yeah, of course, we have to bring this data to in a digitized form, and then we can do how we can put analysis on top of this data. The third one is, how can we quickly act to correct on the business outcomes? Correct. This is where the rubber meets the road, right? Chief digital officers have been tasked, with the delivering capabilities, but are facing increased pressures actually to deliver outcomes. So that transition from capabilities to tangible business outcomes is really challenging. Correct. Attribution remains a huge challenge. Correct. Two key performance indicators, that have not changed are, income statements and balance sheets. Still, they are still the same. Correct. How do we help leaders attribute in their data initiatives, to increase the revenue or cost savings? How do we help leaders to measure the asset value of their data or the, liability risk of their data? These are the top of mind concerns, as we think through next big bet investment on, on the data side. Correct. So what are the data pillars? Correct. So, so these are the data pillars, data product pillars that we have. First of all, what are the operational stores? How do we do governance and analytics? So I will just speak on these three, model first. Correct. So when it comes to transition, correct, we have more than 50 plus, products. As you just mentioned, our product portfolio is actually represents three big investments. Correct. These are the OLTP systems, which are referred to as operation stores. We have OLAP systems, which are coming under the analytics platform, and then we have data governance. Correct. So we have, I'm sorry, we have around 50 plus products and services that fall under these three categories. We deem them, enterprise ID as per these five focus areas. Correct. There is an important journey for many of our customers. We do not see a world where on-premises go away. That means we have to be hybrid. Correct. And we are focusing, and we are seeing the need of our customers to leverage multiple clouds to various degrees. Correct. So we are pretty much open in that area also. So we really do not want, from a data center perspective, someone is getting locked. So we are still, very, very open to leverage, a multi-cloud investments as well. We wanted to support, each of those needs, correct. And we have developed actually some components like Azure Arc, just to support hybrid and, the multi-cloud scenarios. Now coming to security and compliance, correct. So I think we have close to 100 compliance offering. Some of the standards ones are ISO 27001, a SOC 123, industry specific like HIPAA. If you talk about regional, we have something like GDPR. I know that maybe in the security overview, you must have heard about it, but again, it's important for me to reiterate, correct? And like, when it comes to the government, like FedRAMP, high, or, as noteworthy, so that's few, few regulations we are certified on those areas as well. Correct. So From a security perspective, we have in fact went ahead in designing designing the data center specifically for government. For example, in China, Germany, and US, we do have data centers specifically to the public sectors. Correct. Now, when it comes to controlling the cyber defense, correct. So we have more than 3,500 security professionals. We capture around 6.5 trillion global signals almost on a daily basis, and we actually have spent close to $1 billion investment in the cybersecurity space. Second, let's come to the intelligence part of it, right? How are we using the intelligence comes that how are we using this high volume of product telemetry to gain intelligence for ourselves and for our customers? That's what are we doing right now. Our intelligence tools can predict and anticipate performance challenges for our customers. We have developed huge amount of ML models. Correct. I think in last 3, 4 years, we have really matured ourselves to, find out any anomalies in our systems. Correct. And so we have deployed solutions, specific to business outcomes. And these are still an ongoing area for us, to more innovate. Now, how do we deal with open source? Correct. At Microsoft, we are heavily betting on the open source. We support now fully managed MySQL, MariaDB, PostgreSQL. We will discuss about them in our future slides. As well as, we have done the investments in Mongo API, Cassandra, Gremlin for graphs, Neo4j, correct? And for our analytics products, we are supporting Spark and other governance languages like Apache, Atlas APIs, and all those things. So if we are really coming to serve on the open source systems as well, we want the people who are working on open source can be comfortable to work on Azure. And lastly, to address the performance and scales, given the rate at which data volumes are growing, we are getting petabytes of click streams, e-commerce, IoT apps. Large scale is becoming a norm. Correct. So I know that the big data definition, which is for a few GBs, around 2 decades back, is now, running into petabytes. So now even for a terabytes, you do not even consider that as a big data. Correct. So that's how, and we are designing our products to be able to deal with these high volumes of data. So let's look, into these data services that we offer. Correct. So when you talk about operational stores, we do have, and actually, we have more than 40, but I would be just focusing on few of the major ones only. Correct. So we have SQL Server, and it comes with 3 flavors. We do have Azure SQL, which is called Azure SQL DB. If you see this, it's actually a pure PaaS. Correct, but it is not equivalent to a SQL Server. But yes, you can run your, let's say if you are developing a single database application, this is the most fit database. You need not to create the server and all this thing. Okay, and simply configure it. It hardly takes a minute. Correct, and you are ready to go. I will show you a demo also that how to create Azure SQL DB on this. Then we have SQL Server as a managed services. So we have a managed instance, correct, for SQL Server, and also we support SQL Server on IaaS. Correct. Then we have created SQL DB Edge, which is actually an extension to your on-premise SQL Server. Okay, you can extend your database of on-premise to cloud. You can even create stretch tables and all those things. And then we have this NoSQL DB, which is called Cosmos DB. It's actually equivalent to MongoDB, and it supports various services, open source systems like Cassandra, Mongo API, SQL. These kind of engines are possible, and this is the only database in the world which gives you an SLA on the latency. None of the database gives you that, and we say that within 100 millisecond we will replicate your data across the globe. I mean, this is something, and that too SLA bound. So actually, let me just give you some insight of this. The Azure Cosmos DB is the one which Microsoft has created for Xbox, for the gaming platform. And the Skype that we use in our early days, and now it has been taken over by Teams. All the logs of Skypes are being transmitted through Cosmos DB. So these are some of the big testified use cases that I told you about Cosmos DB. And then these are our investments in the open source. We do have managed services for PostgreSQL, MySQL, and MariaDB. It's with the support of read replicas and everything. And then when it comes to analytics, right, we have these, we have this system called Azure Synapse Analytics, which actually a bundling of Azure SD Insight, a data warehouse, a data factory. Data factory is just our orchestration engine. I'm not sure if you are familiar with it. If you have worked on Airflow or something, you can, now work on ETLs using Azure Data Factory, which comes with more than 75 connectors, and you can directly fetch information from these sources. Then we have managed SQL data warehouse. I mean, you can, and the good part is that, you can pause the data warehouse to save the compute cost, and you can actually run, whenever you need it. And then we have Azure Data Explorer, which can give you a good correlated insights of your data. And then we have Azure Stream Analytics, which is used for doing the stream analytics, and most of the media companies are kind of using the systems. We have Azure Databricks. Actually, this is our acquisition from a Databricks company, and here you can write down an automation, and this is so intelligent enough that it will scale automatically to complete your job. And then we have internal Cosmos. Actually, this is just an extension in Synapse. Now, from a governance perspective, we have these two systems called Azure Data Catalog and the data share, that how we can share data with each other, and the data cataloging, correct? So how how you can put the catalogs, and how I can mask a specific field. It gives that intelligent information that, okay, this is the field you should do, and then you can put the controls on top of it, that the data manage. You can just actually set up a complete data governance process. Correct. So let me just show you. This is how this, and that too. Actually, this is our PaaS layer. Correct. So I would just like to tell you that our big differentiators and and our emphasis are on creating these integrated services at the PaaS layer. Correct. The connectivity tissue right across these services is incredibly important for the enterprise leaders, which allows them to reduce complexity and the cost caused by an environment filled with silos, points, and products. So these comes natively with a good integrations with each other. Correct. So, and it decreases the time to value associated, with integrated end-to-end scenarios. It increases the focus on strategic solutions and, the business outcomes. So we are only the few companies, who have come up and, offer to this kind of breadth and depth. So let's now begin with, how to deal with operational data. Okay, let's go slightly deeper into that. So, with over 30 years of maturity and success, SQL remains a leader in the clubhouse, right? With the release of SQL DB we have strengthened our end-to-end story for handling data from the edge to your private data center and to the public cloud. Correct, all leveraging the same core SQL engine. Correct, so we have an NIST vulnerability database. A few security vulnerabilities we have found over 9 years. Correct, Edge was developed with IoT scenarios, in mind, allowing you to stream, process, and analyze relational and non-relational data like JSON, graph, time series data, connected and unconnected deployment models. Correct. So Azure SQL still remains the strongest destination for SQL. Correct. With it, price performance as comparison with other cloud providers. Correct. So we are now giving a managed instance of a level of a hyperscale. Correct. So adapts on demand to your workloads need. Auto scaling up to hundreds of terabytes per database because because of specific workloads like VLDB, which requires highly scalable storage and read scale requirements. This is optimized for OLTP and HTTP workloads. This is serverless. You need not to manage these servers. It is fully managed, best for unpredictable and intermittent workloads on a single database. Actually, so we are now going really high scale. And then we have a multi-model database called Cosmos DB. Correct, which is, as I already told you, it supports various open source APIs like Cassandra, MongoDB, etc. Correct, so you can keep documents, key value pairs, graphs, column family. Correct. It also comes with a beautiful multi-master global distribution with 99.999% availability. Also, on the open source side, we have now enterprise ready open source and fully managed correct databases. And let me also tell you, for this MySQL, MariaDB, and Postgre, these are all community additions. So these are not proprietary to Microsoft. We have put this community addition into our managed areas, and we are managing these runtimes for you. Okay, so they will go as per the community. And but we would be giving complete support on them. Correct. So when it comes to native MySQL and something, we have to go to the community on that. So now let's study the so if you see that how do we work on this? Converting operational data into an actionable insights correct is still a very costly and and high latency challenge for us. There are some well-known solution patterns are in place. Correct. The most common approach is to create ETL pipelines from operational stores to your data warehouse. This allows both your operational stores and your analytics store to to remain focused on their primary task. So by doing that, you can optimize price performance by optimizing each workload. However, setting up these pipelines can be really complicated and expensive. The three pain points that I have heard so far are actually the health monitoring across each components, the networks, correct, the virtual networks or the connectivity issues, and actually the security, correct, along across the stores and these pipelines. The biggest issue, however, is actually the latency. Correct. So perhaps you are the only generating the insights daily, whereas near real time is needed actually. So these are some of the challenges that we face, and that's how we are bringing up solution to this. So leverage a single store for both data analytics. This removes the need to create expensive and latent ETL pipelines, which is really good. Actually, we do that implicitly. Correct. However, the price performance equation is heavily impacted. The analytics query impact performance of the high volume transaction of install. So either live, either live with these performance or provisioning additional resources. These can be really very expensive. So so people who have gone through the single store or have developed the ETL have faced these kind of challenges. Now, what does our Synapse did? Correct. So we come up with a solution, right, which has solved this kind of a problem of ETL as well as managing the security while turning the data in and out. So actually, it is the first. Let me just speak a bit about Azure Synapse. Synapse is actually the first cloud native, S-step implementation. Correct. So it actually links your Azure operational databases to Synapse, providing an ability to get an immediate insights of your data. Correct. In fact, as soon as the transaction is recorded in your operational database, it is available in a columnar format for analytics in mere seconds, actually. So you need not to worry on writing or executing those pipelines. And the best part, all it takes is the click of a button, and we handle all that work for you. No need to build and manage extremely complex and expensive ETL pipelines, or to worry about negative impact, performance on your transactions. Correct. Instead of understanding what happened yesterday or last week, Synapse Links enables you to understand what actually is happening now. Correct. So rather than going for analytics for the whole day, now even you can do the real-time analytics, which is the biggest boom, required by the industry. And in these uncertain times, making these decisions of now is actually very, very much required also. And I think in most of the places we have the real-time use cases where Azure Synapse have really done wonders. When it comes to handling different situations in COVID scenarios, like for airlines and all those things, this has really come handy. This kind of a database, which has brought insights before expectations. Okay, so let's see, what all we can do with Synapse. Correct. So let's go slightly double click this area. So actually, Synapse actually is an effort to make good together connectivity issue that I discussed earlier. Correct. Going back a few years, we did an exhaustive analytics to the of the market to better understand and felt the challenges of setting up an enterprise scale analytics. Unquestionably, the biggest issue was sheer amount of time and resources being leveraged to perform the data wrangling, correct, setting up these pipelines, configuring the infrastructure, like security and networking. The end-to-end setup was a piecemeal for disparate parts and skill sets. So we set out to reduce this, end-to-end setup cost and ultimately time to value. Synapse is an integration play, correct, allowing you to set up and manage end-to-end workflow from a single workspace. Correct. What are the benefits? Actually, it has actually the limitless scales. With Azure Synapse, data professional can query both relational and non-relational database at a petabyte scale. Using familiar SQL language, performance benchmarks via well-recognized industry standards. Correct. So powerful insights. We have deeply integrated Power BI and Azure machine learning to greatly expand and discover insights from all your data and apply machine learning models to all your intelligent apps. In fact, we have over more than 90 plus connectors to popular data sources. So let's discuss about the unified experience. Correct. So it provides a unified experience along across personas for data prep, data management, data warehousing, and big data and AI tasks. It has everything from data engineers to database administrator to data scientist and business analyst. So all people can play along on this unified experience, and with an unmatched security, of course. This is one of the most critical part. So we have we take care of this endpoint protection. for the Synapse integrations internally. Correct, the data flow through our backbones only, right behind the scenes, and they're all completely monitored. So we go for end-to-end monitoring of this particular data, along with column level encryptions and the row level security and all those things, with all that thing inbuilt. Okay, so if you see this, right, this is the way it looks. We have a unified experience. So they can open a Synapse Studio, and then we have all these layers for integration, management, monitoring, and security that I've already discussed. And then we have these analytics runtimes like SQL, or you can write down the Spark queries, and you can store your data in Azure Data Lake Storage. So this is how we do manage all these things. So let's go over to the governance part. Correct. So this is something where we have to just double click the data, that how is our unified approach to data governance. By the way, I would just like to pause a bit, right, to see the chat. Correct. If there are any questions. I don't think we do have any questions on the chat. So I would be proceeding further. Okay. So guys, maybe you can just keep your questions, and we can just take them at the end of this session. What is our governance vision? Let me just first explain that. The foundation is actually a unique and a unified platform. Correct. A map of data assets across an organization's data estate. Correct. So which can the governance would be like which can track comprehensive descriptions of all the data classifications of where the data is stored and how it travels, who owns it, and so on. Correct. Wherein we get complete, fully managed data scanning and classified service to kind of automate, right? You can populate the data map. That knowledge is then used, as a basis to create a set of purpose-built experiences for all aspects of data governance, from data discovery and sharing through a data use governance and data privacy. Okay, what is the data discovery pillar? Okay, so data catalog, correct. So that is also one of the very important thing. Correct. This leverage actually the data map, and scanning and classification, which releases along with the data. Together, the catalog and data map actually enables technical users to easily publish and find data available across organizations, therefore increasing the use of data across organizations. Okay, so that's how we have to bundle this, that with catalog and and the sharing, it has to be reaching to all the consumers inside the organization. Correct. Next, the data shares enable simple sharing of data within and across companies with a confidential compute design. Correct. So it implicitly has identity management, a strong connectivity with Azure Active Directory. I know, my fellow peers have talked about that in previous sessions. Correct. So this is how we do both inter and intra data sharing with complete security of and respecting authorization and authentication. Correct. So finally, the data use governance tier. Correct. So when we go to the data use governance tier, experience in this tier are targeted at data officers to enable them to ensure right use of data is upheld consistently across the breadth of an organization data systems. Correct. Right use in this context means ensuring data use adheres to both corporate and regulatory requirements. So data officers, cannot govern efficiently system by system. They are just too far, just far too many, in most organizations for that to be possible. They require a bird eye view of the organization data estate to quickly understand what data exists, what is sensitive data, assess risk, define and enforce data governance policies. So these are types of experiences, we are working to enable for our customers. So let me jump over to demo. Correct. So just give me a minute. I'll just show you the flavor of the Azure portal and how do we do things over there. So just let me know when you're able to see my screen. Cool. So I'll just start with the portal.azure.com is actually the portal, and it will do me the native signing. And let's start with this of creating a SQL server. I'll just show you a couple of services when it comes to SQL database. So let's first quickly create a database. I've already created a few. Correct. So let me just remove this and go back. And all of you guys, you can also do this. So Azure gives you $200 free of charge for a month to practice all these things. And I think there are close to 25 services that are fully free. So this is the first thing maybe we can do. Our demo. Okay, let me just give demo SQL DB. Okay, let's create a new server here. Demo SQL DB SVR. It has to be unique in the word. Correct. So I'll just take a user and method password. Okay, and let's put the nearest location as Southeast Asia, which is Singapore. We do have 3 data centers in India. We have West India, which is Mumbai. We have Central India, which is Pune, and we have South, which is in Chennai. And actually, we are the only data centers that we have 3 data centers in India. So let's make it locally redundant. Let me just give you an overview. I know most of you are already knowing. In the local redundant, we will keep 3 copies in a data center. In the zones, we will keep in multiple zones. And geo means they will keep in the remote data centers also. Let's say if you're creating in Central India, 1 copy will be kept in South. Okay, next go to the networking. For me, let's go ahead with no access. And, let's say you can configure all these things. Let's leave it for this demo. And, it show me the price. And let's create it. Okay. In the meantime, when it gets created, I'll just show you that, it will come here. It will take 1 or 2 minutes. So just see that, how quickly we can create this. Let me just select a few other ones. Okay. So if I go and see this, correct. So this is how it comes up. correct, and we can work, and the way to get access is to have to first go and set down the firewall rule, correct? So your client IP address has to be this. So as of now, they have disabled it. Actually, this is not mine, but unless or until you specify your client IP to it, you won't be able to access this data. But that's actually the the first feature that we already have in this. Correct. So you can define out the connection policies here. Okay, and then there are various other things that now we have. Correct. You can enable the geo application, which is a very good thing now. You can see that in the East US, I can just set it up anywhere. Okay, so this will geo replicate my data. So which is really good that you need not to set up all those complex HA clustering and an always on availability. This is really cool. Okay, and it also comes with various other things like auditing. Okay, so once you enable this auditing, we take this data to our Azure Security Center and we analyze it completely. I mean, we can give you alerts that this is something wrong happening. Let's say if there is a malicious attack on doing a dictionary attack on logging into your SQL server and all these things, so we will discover that. So let's go back to our data source. Correct. So it has created now. Correct. So if I go here, set up the set firewall here, I can just type in this and I'll just click this. So it made an entry and I'll just do the save. Correct. So it did. Let me just go back. Let's take this and let me just bring up my SQL Management Studio. So let me just bring it over here. Okay. So this is my SQL Management Studio. Let me just connect the database engine. It's an old one. Let me just copy this and paste it over here. And then I have put in Mittal and the password is okay. Let's do the connect. Here we go. So just see, all right. So it has created the database for me. This is the SQL DB. Correct, I can just do something here. Correct, quickly create a table. Create table, so let me just first select this master here. ID int. Okay, let me just give it as a primary key. Correct, so we have this. Insert into sample table. Name. Values. Test user 1. Correct, so and correct, so it works absolutely fine. I mean, you can get all those things here. Plus, we have also given a query module here now. Correct. So you can see there is a spike, as soon as we interacted this. There is also a query editor here. Correct. So it will ask me, or, let me just. So even if you don't have a SQL Studio, you can just do this here. Correct. And that's why I created table over there. Correct. So if I want it, sample table, set name is equal to anchor, where ID is equal to 1. Correct. I can run this. Correct. And select star from sample table. Correct. So you can play along with this. You can write down the views, store procedures, everything is here. Okay, so let's see a few other things. We do also have a managed service on this. Okay, so this is a fully context-based search that you can develop. This is the stream analytics. So you can create jobs too for doing the stream analytics from this database. Okay, this is the intelligent performance view. So as of now, we don't have anything much, but let's see a few others, right? If we have some analysis from other systems, because these are the ones, which may be having some more kind of, no, here we don't have anything. Any performance recommendations we are not getting, but we used to get. Okay, so these are few things on the database side. Apart from that, I would also like to show you. Let's see, PostgreSQL. Correct. This is also very easy. All right. So this is the database someone has created for Postgre. Correct. So same technology. Same thing, you have to create the way we have created SQL. In the same way, you can create you can create the you can create the same thing for Postgre also. Correct. Again, like coming to the connection security. Again, over here you have to add your own client IP address like this, and you can save it. Correct. Similarly, again, the replication is also possible here. Correct. So if you wish, you can add a replica. You can give it a name and you can give it to any region. Of course, this is not as good as API or fancy UI as we have in SQL, but we will be soon covering this out. And this is again a good point here that we have brought the private endpoint features also. So that means most of the companies have got this concern that this kind of the location is actually public. You can remove it now by implementing private endpoint. So with private endpoint, you can you can give it a virtual network, give it a private IP address to the SQL server, and you can just work along as a PaaS services. So this is how we do work. And let me just show you the beauty of the day, which is Synapse. Correct. So let me just show you. Subscriptions. Let's see if we do have something here. Okay. I have to just log in. Okay, so we have to create this here. Okay, first I have to register. So actually, as of now, it's not active in my subscription. I have to do that later on. Correct, but hope you get an idea of how to manage the database. And to start with, if you wanted to create a data lake, I'll just show you that as well. Storage accounts. Okay, so I can add a storage account here. Correct. So this is the general purpose 2. Correct. Next we go to the, I can give a public endpoint or a private endpoint. That means it will be linked to my virtual networks only. Correct. So then when it comes to data protection, I can do all these things. Correct. So I can do point in restore, right? I can enable soft delete. That means the data will not be actually deleted, but it would be soft deleted for a specific amount of time so that you can retrieve it back. And then we have this, data lake enabled. So with hierarchical namespaces also, it is possible. That means it will automatically create a tree structure for you. And then, we also can define, once this is enabled, we also can define the life cycle of data. Correct. So we can, I will just show you, not on this, but any existing one, that we can also create a life cycle policy. I have this, and correct. So we can enable the SSL transfer, right? And I can just do this. Then even, this comes with oh, sorry, this is general purpose V1. With this general purpose V2, we have this. Correct. So with this, we have security. Correct. So we can also do this data defender, and I think there is also a life cycle management here. Correct. So I can add a rule to this, and this is a really cool thing. Correct. So you can just say that, move to cool and then archive, then delete. So, so I can go for the next one. Correct. Let's say that, once it is 60 days and above, then, move to cold storage. That I can add a rule. Okay. Then I can add another rule. Move to archive. Correct. So let's say I say that, when this last modified is 180 days, then move to archive storage. I can add this rule, and I can add another rule. Remove me. And that means if there is something, which is not last modified to, let's say, 500 days, okay, then delete that all. So that means you need not to have any overhead of doing the management. Correct. So these are the various things, guys, I would like to show you that how you can do various level of data management on our data services. Okay, right from creating the databases to using it. That's how you can all play along with this. And there's many more, which you can go ahead and, see. I see there are a couple of chats coming in. No. So I think I am done. I think we still have 30 minutes to go. I'm happy to take questions. Correct. So rest, actually, I'm all done with my demo. Thanks very much, team, for on this call.
Yes, yes. Thank you, Ankur. Is there any question for him? And Ankur, this is one and a half hour session, so going to bear with us, and you may need to. You can show some other thing which is very much useful for the educational community, especially for faculty. Apart from this topic, if you have something to show, you can show it to them because we have another 30 minutes time with us.
Okay. So just give me a minute. Well, I'm not sure how many of you have seen, how we can quickly create a good website on, on Azure. So I can also show that to you.
You mean to say that using Azure app services?
Correct. Or you have already seen that?
Yes, I have given the demonstration. Joomla.
Okay. Okay. So you have already given that.
Yes. Anything else?
Application we have covered. Database we have covered. What else actually? I think from a faculty so okay, let me just give you the security overview. That will
Yeah.
be really interesting.
Yes.
Okay.
And see how as a faculty, see they need to go and teach their students. They need to teach their
Okay.
students. Otherwise, research point of view, like they need to guide their students in like PhD scholars or some other people. Some topic
Mhm.
could be very much interesting, which they can take it as a research topic.
Correct. So actually, let me just show you. Let me just show you, how do we work actually? This is quite interesting that how do Microsoft work?
Yeah.
Correct. So see guys, when it comes to security, okay, most of the time we face the challenges that what is whether this public cloud is secured enough or not.
Only
Correct.
1 second.
Mhm.
See, I just now sent. This is for the afternoon session. Whoever filled don't want to fill it. I think everybody started filling again. This is for overall afternoon session. Don't fill now. Whoever filled after post lunch. Post lunch only one time you have to fill your attendance. Yes. Yes. Please proceed.
Okay. So we have really developed beautiful things on cloud now, and actually, if you see my desktop here, right? So this is the security center, and actually, this is one of the most advanced one. Which is capturing all the details of the ecosystem. So we do have, actually more than 5,000 machines which are getting monitored. And this is actually the overall footprint of my environment. So if you see my security score, it is well below 50%. And I can tell you in the real time, if it is above 60%, it's really very good. Correct. So this is the way, we actually capture the information very early on. Okay, so if you see this Azure Defender, these are all the attacks that are happening on my machine. If I go
Excuse me,
and
Ankur.
yes,
This is being recorded. It will be there in the public domain. Just keep it in mind.
okay,
This is being recorded now, and then it will be there in the public domain. So something if
okay,
it
no
is very
issues.
much critical, don't show it to them.
Okay. So
Fine.
so these are only for the demo purposes only. Correct.
No issues.
So
No issues.
so if you see here, like we have Azure Defender, correct, and this is where we can see the vulnerability. Let's imagine what's happening on 26th. So if I go here, this is the alert happened on that day. Mhm. I will show you that, okay, so let's study this part. And, there is a suspicious products process executed here. So if I go and see what happened, it will demonstrate that, what kind of the thing happened on this particular resource. So this is called the hunting down. So this is one of the VM. Okay, and this is giving me the detail. Okay, this is the victim. This is the file, which were attacked. Correct. This is the host. Correct. This was the host logon session. Correct. This is the thing. And, this is the process ID. So you can just imagine that, till what level do we do scanning of the resources? Okay. And if you go back to the security center, okay, we have also now brought up this compliance manager. If I click over here, it can give me a quick overview. How do I stand in terms of these compliances? So for example, if I go for a PCI DSS certification, it will tell me that, these many things you have to fix. Okay. So that means, you have to just see here that, these are the firewall or these are the VMs on which, these many things you have to fix. Correct. So you can say that, there is a machine storage account, which is not restricted. Correct. It has to be restricted to a virtual network. Okay. So, and don't allow. So there is, so this is how, we detect your environment and we create this kind of a we create this kind of a reports, and you can download the report and you can just show it to your compliance auditors. Correct. So this is something really cool that we have developed in terms of security. Okay. And not only this, we also have developed a few other interesting tools. I would like to give you that just in time access. So in security center, correct. So these are all various security solutions. Correct. You can include this. So as of now, we have not included the partner solutions. Correct. But we have, but we have our own metric score that we are giving as of now. Another tool that we have developed is, Azure Sentinel. Okay, which is again a tool which does the overall monitoring of the things. And here, we can go one level down. So if you see this map, correct, it shows us the live overview of, on my subscription, that where all my resources are and how they are behaving. Correct. I can just see here and, play along. Correct. So this is just one incident that has happened. Correct. So I can see that from Romania, someone has actually tried to access my IIS server. Correct. So just see that, what kind of the insight we can get on a quickly basis, which actually testify my statement that, we have to be really quick and fast in, analyzing our records. So these are all data connectors that now we support. Correct. You can see, oh my God, we have now 61. I think last week it was 56. So we got few more. So these are all various third-party tools, as well as, as well as the common ones. So let's say if you are implementing Barracuda solution somewhere, you can configure to send logs to Azure Sentinel, and we will do the correlation ourselves and give you the good insight on this. That what are the things that you should focus on. Okay. So it ranges. So it is actually our overall SIEM solution, just like QRadar or ArcSight. So this is one of the tool that we are developing. Okay. Also, I would just like to show you, the kind of metrics that people have prepared. Correct, some sample retail APIs. So just see that, this is the retail API, a sample retail API, correct, e-commerce platform, wherein, we can gather all these telemetry and, can create these kind of rich dashboards also. So when it comes to the usage, I can pretty much, analyze the usage of my web apps which are hosted. I think the demo that you have shown for Joomla, I mean, in lieu of that regard, we can develop these kind of telemetry. What is the responsiveness? What is the server response time? What is the average page load downtime? correct, and what is the testing results, correct, and available memory. So this is all we can manage. We can monitor and manage our own entire systems. So which takes us to the as an enterprise vendor to manage their end-to-end systems. Correct. So this is something handy, which I have shown. Fortunately, I don't have anything in public domain as of now that I can showcase to you. So I have to cease off here. Yeah, I think rest of the time we can take for Q&A if any.
Yes. So, on behalf of participants, I can ask some more question.
Yes.
Getting into Microsoft as a especially solution architect, what is the criteria? How the way that interview process would be? Whether you can share that those things?
See, it depends upon the demographics in which you are going, but I think it's really an interesting role. And in fact, in last few years, we have in fact done the Mac hires also. So these are for the students, or these are for seniors as well.
Fine.
So, so let me answer that also. So we have both the options for the entry level as well as for the experienced professionals. So it depends. So you can always go to careers.microsoft.com and you can see for the relevant opportunity. And the way in which we are looking in that you should have experience of generic public cloud, right? Anything, whether it would be AWS, Azure, and we don't mind. Correct, when somebody comes out for an interview, we check for definitely there would be a skill test for aptitude and logical reasoning, and then there would be a couple of technical rounds, correct, and there could be a case study also that you need to complete and present to the jury, and then actually there would be final HR rounds, to get into Microsoft.
Okay. Okay. Any questions from our participants? Any questions? Shall we say thank you to them? As enable, I will unmute everyone. If somebody want, they can speak. I have unmuted everyone. No question, sir. Thank you.
Okay. Thanks everyone for being a wonderful listener. Correct. If you have any questions, please write us back.
Yes, you can. If anyone have question, please post it.
Okay, guys. So I wish you all a very happy season for festivals. I wish you all and your family a very happy Diwali.
Thank you, Mr. Ankit Mittal, and really we are happy that you are being part of this session. And I would like to request, I request you to share your presentation and 5 MCQ questions.
Okay, I'll do that.
Thank you. Thanks a lot, and happy Diwali. Yes, and you can leave now.
Okay, thank you.